Hi, so I've been watching a few videos recently where people have been looking at tubular locks, and I've got no experience. I was enthused watching lockpicking lawyer picking 11 pin, which was a 7 pin with 4 pin in pins, I believe. I thought I'd have a crack at it, and in so doing I noticed something that I haven't seen anyone mention before, which is that once you start picking them, single pin picking that is, you end up with fewer pins to pick than previously. So hopefully you can see in this picture, I'm just trying to steady the camera a bit. The camera's right in front of my head and between my head and the lock, so I'm going to be slowly picking this. You can see this is a 7 pin. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not particularly in that order. At the top, where the 10th pin of the key goes in, so here's the key. You can see that there is an index point at the top and then a point for tensioning with the insert in the key. This point underneath the disc that contains the key pins, there's no driver pin. So that part of the shear line doesn't exist. As you turn the lock, in this case it's going to turn anti-clockwise. After you picked it one turn, this pin, which we'll call pin 1 for now, ends up in that point, and it's at the shear line, so there's no need to pick it. So on the first pick we need to do the 7 pins that you can see, but on the second pick we only need to do the 6 pins that don't align with this index point. So I'm going to try and demonstrate that now. This is a cam lock, and so to ease the tensioning I'm just going to push on the cam, and here we go. I'm going to try and do it through the viewfinder so I can tell if I'm blocking your view or not. Get a few clicks on these pins. I saw another video which appears to be using this same lock. I can't remember the name of the guy. It's a English, northeastern English lock picker. I'll try and get a link for that in the in the description. And he points out, I think it's the same kind of lock, that there are actually security pins in this. I think that the serrated, but it certainly feels that way. If I put too much tension on, then these keys are binding and getting sort of false sets. With gentle tension, they take 2 or 3 pushes per pin to get going. Anyway, so I picked to the first position. This only turns 90 degrees, and now we've got pin 1 on the shear line here, so I'm not going to pick that. I've got pins 2 to 7 to pick. So what I'm using is a piece of piano wire mounted in a scalpel holder. It's a bit thick and it catches in the gap when there's tension on the lock. So I'm studiously avoiding picking pin 1. Sorry, I can't see the pins yet. It's very close to going at the moment. We've got partial movement there. Okay, so now pin 2 is in that position, so I need to pick pins 1, 3 to 7. So I'm going to pick it closed. Okay, forget it. Yeah, so I was going to give up on that for now. So I showed you the key before, which has got the index on the outside and the tensioner on the inside. There's one where I've just taken the index off so I can actually stick it in. So I just file that down, just turn it to unlock it. And just a quick time saver. I'm going to pause the video and bring up the other lock and show you a similar thing. Okay, so here's the other lock. It's, as I say, a Muddy Fox bike lock. You can see that it's got, well, it's very off-center, and this is just how it is. It's got a very wobbly inner core. It's not centered on the outer bit, and the whole lock body seems to be slightly off-center. It's just how it is. When you apply tension to it, it does go a bit haywire as well. So where it differs from the other lock primarily is one that it's got the idea is it turns 180 degrees, and it would appear that there's a provision for it removing the key at the 180 degrees position when you're unlocked, but that hasn't been implemented yet. But nonetheless, the pin that's at 180 degrees doesn't need to be picked. Either that one or that one has a working pin at any stage. Tensioning this is rather different than the other, in that I can't cheat by holding the back, and also it doesn't have a tensioning on the inner part of the lock, it's only on the outer. So directly underneath this fixed thing with a groove in is part of the main plug, which also has a groove there. So I have a piece of windshield wiper that I've bent and filed down to a bit of a point, and that fits into this hole. Done. Okay, so it fits in there, and then I can apply tension. So I'm just going to try picking this. Oh, I think it's all in the tensioning here. I'm just going to check that the key's still working. Okay, so that's locked. Sorry, this is unlocked. This is locked. The key pops out. It is working fine, so it's all down to lack of skill. Maybe also I could have made the tension bar a bit more precise. Okay, I'm just going to try using less tension. So the whole thing rocks as you set the pins, which does make it a bit annoying. Right, so I'm just pretending to be hitting this one, but it's not moving anywhere. We've got some movement. And there we've got the first unlock. So now this pin is dead, and whatever pin lands here is dead as well. So we've just got these pins to work on. So now we've got 5 pins active rather than the 6 that were active initially. Well, it's a 7-pin lock. As I say, the pin that is at the opposite end to the to the index is dead to start with. When you turn it, the pin at the index and the one opposite are dead. So you have fewer to pick. It doesn't seem to be making the job any easier. Okay, without the camera, naturally, blah blah, it's much easier. Just checking that that pin is dead. It's certainly not going anywhere, but neither's the one next to it. You can see that the whole thing leans down. There's a big gap at the top and a small gap at the bottom, so it becomes difficult to get the probe in. I'm just going to remove tension and try again, slightly less tension. Unfortunately, this gap here is very small, and by the time I've forced the wire in there, I've got a lot of force behind the probe, so it probably oversets that pin. There we go. Okay. So again, we've still just got the 5 to pick, but now this one's dead and the one opposite it. So we got this one, and then 3 on the other side to deal with. Then we've got the problem where this one is hiding underneath it. I guarantee you I'm not going to unpick this. Sorry, I'm not going to pick this unlocked. There we go. Okay, so now we've moved 3 turns, 1 more, and then we've got the thing in its unlocked position, I believe. Okay, this seems to be going smoothly this time. There. That's it, fully unlocked. And hopefully you'll notice that I did just pick 5 pins on every go, other than the first where I had to pick 6, not 7. So I'm going to not pick it unlocked. So here again I've got a key where I've removed the index point, which means I can put it in. What allows it to turn in this condition is that the pins that don't go down will rotate. So, got 2 locks, both 7 pin. This one, which only has 1 dead point, means that you just pick 6 pins after you pick the first. Once you've turned it through the first picking step. This one, which has got 2 dead points, you're only picking 6 to start with and 5 thereafter. So 7 pins. Not. Yeah, well, I hope this has been of some sort of interest. If you want to learn how to do these things properly, I'd certainly recommend looking at Lockpicking Lawyer or Bosnian Bill's tutorials on it. But I have had a look at a lot of different things over the last week, well, over the weekend, and I couldn't find anyone mentioning that the pin count drops. Most people pick once and then unpick and don't take it further, and haven't bothered mentioning it. It's probably too boring to mention, but there you go. Thanks for now. Bye bye.